99% of people will never understand you. 99% of people will never live the way you live. 99% of people will never sacrifice what you sacrifice. 99% of people will sleep while you work. 99% of people will party while you train. 99% of people will laugh while you bleed. 99% of people will quit while you keep going. And that's exactly the point, because you were never meant to be like everyone else. You were never meant to follow the crowd. You were never meant to live an average life. You were built for something different, something harder, something greater, something that most people will never even attempt. And deep inside, you already know this. You've always known this. That feeling you carry, that burning restlessness, that voice that whispers, there is more. You are more. This is not enough. That feeling is not crazy. That feeling is not arrogant. That feeling is your destiny calling you. And the question is not whether you hear it. The question is, are you finally ready to answer? Because the 1% doesn't happen by accident. It happens by decision, by sacrifice, by showing up every single day. When the other 99% go home, this is not a video for everyone. This is a video for the one person who refuses to be ordinary. Welcome to the 1% mindset. Let me show you something. Look around you. Really look. Most people wake up every morning, hit snooze 3 times, drag themselves out of bed, go to a job they hate, come home exhausted, sit on the couch, scroll through someone else's highlight reel, go to sleep and repeat day after day, week after week, year after year, until one day they look up and 20 years have passed and nothing has changed, and they wonder, where did my life go? This is the world of the 99%, not because they're bad people, not because they're stupid, not because life was unfair to them, but because somewhere along the way, they made a choice. The choice of comfort over courage, the choice of safety over significance, the choice of fitting in over standing out. And every single day, that choice got easier to make until it wasn't even a choice anymore. It was just habit. The habit of average, the habit of ordinary, the habit of just enough. And here's the brutal truth. Average is not a place you fall into. Average is a place you choose. Every morning, when you sleep in instead of getting up, you choose average. Every time you skip the work because you don't feel like it, you choose average. Every time you settle for less than what you know you're capable of, you choose average. Average is a daily decision, and so is greatness. The only question is, which one are you choosing? Now let me tell you something nobody wants to hear. The 1% is not glamorous, not in the beginning, not in the middle, and sometimes not even at the end. The 1% is waking up at 4 a.m. when the world is dark and quiet, and doing the work anyway. The 1% is training when your body is broken, working when your mind is empty, pushing when every cell in your body says stop. The 1% is missing the parties, missing the gatherings, missing the moments that everyone else is sharing. Because you're in the gym, because you're at your desk, because you're doing what needs to be done when everyone else is doing what they want to do. The 1% is being misunderstood, being called obsessed, being called crazy, being told you're taking it too seriously, being told to relax, being told to enjoy life while you're sitting there knowing this is how you enjoy life. This work, this grind, this pursuit, this is the joy. The 1% means bleeding, not always literally, but bleeding nonetheless. Bleeding your time, bleeding your comfort, bleeding your ego, bleeding the parts of yourself that are holding you back until what's left is pure, is focused, is unstoppable. That's the price. And most people look at that price and walk away, but not you, because you're still here. And that means something. So what is it? What really separates the 1% from everyone else? Is it talent? No. The world is full of talented people who never made it. Is it intelligence? No. The world is full of brilliant people living mediocre lives. Is it luck? Absolutely not. Luck is what average people blame for other people's success. So what is it? It's one thing. One single thing they decided, not wished, not hoped, not dreamed. They decided with every cell in their body, with every breath they take, with every morning they wake up, they decided, I will not stop. I will not settle. I will not accept anything less than everything I am capable of. And then they back that decision with action. Relentless, consistent, unforgiving action. The 1% are not people who never fail. They fail more than anyone because they try more than anyone. They fall harder than anyone because they climb higher than anyone. They hurt deeper than anyone because they care more than anyone. But here's what's different. When they fall, they don't ask why. They ask, what did I learn? When they fail, they don't look for someone to blame. They look for something to fix. When they hurt, they don't run from the pain. They use it. They weaponize it. They turn every scar into strength, every loss into a lesson, every breakdown into a breakthrough. That is the 1% mindset, not perfection. Transformation. Look at the greatest fighters in history. Look at what they had in common. It wasn't size. It wasn't speed. It wasn't even skill. It was what happened inside them. When everything went wrong, when they were on the canvas, when the crowd was silent, when their corner was telling them to stay down, when their body was screaming, enough. That's the moment that defined them, not the victory. The moment they chose to get up. Because anyone can fight when they're winning. Anyone can push when they're feeling strong. Anyone can move forward when the path is clear. But the 1%, they fight hardest when they're losing. They push deepest when they're weakest. They move forward when they can't even see the path. That's not natural. That's not instinct. That's a choice made in the darkest moment, when quitting would be so easy, when no one would blame them, when the world would understand. They chose differently. They chose to rise. Think about every hard moment of your life. Every time you were on the canvas. Every time the world counted you out. Every time you thought this was the end. You got up. Maybe slowly. Maybe painfully. Maybe with everything you had left. But you got up. That means you already have what it takes. You already have the 1% inside you. It's not something you need to find. It's something you need to unleash. The 1% is not built in moments of inspiration. It's built in moments of routine. In the boring, in the repetitive, in the unsexy daily habits that nobody sees. Let me tell you what those habits look like. First, they protect their mornings. The first hour of the day belongs to them. Not to their phone. Not to the news. Not to other people's problems. To themselves. To their mind. To their body. To their vision. Because how you start your morning sets the tone for everything that follows. Win the morning, win the day. Second, they do the hard thing first. Not last, not when they feel ready. First, the most important task, the most uncomfortable action, the thing they've been avoiding. They do it first, because willpower is strongest in the morning, and every hard thing you do early makes everything else feel possible. Third, they protect their energy. They say no more than they say yes. They guard their time like it's the most valuable thing they own. Because it is. Every yes to something unimportant is a no to something that matters. The 1% knows this, and they choose accordingly. Fourth, they never stop learning. Books, podcasts, mentors, failures. Every experience is a classroom. Every mistake is a teacher. They are always students, always hungry for more understanding, more skill, more wisdom. Because the moment you think you know enough is the moment you start going backwards. Fifth, they control their mind. They don't let negative thoughts rent space for free. They don't spiral into self-pity. They don't entertain doubt longer than necessary. They acknowledge it. They examine it. And then they choose a different thought on purpose, deliberately. Because the mind is not a spectator. The mind is a weapon, and the 1% keeps their weapon sharp. Now I need to talk about something real. Because the 1% path is not always fire and glory. There are dark moments, deeply dark moments, moments when you question everything, when you've given everything you have, And it still doesn't seem like enough when you've sacrificed so much and the results still haven't come. When everyone around you seems to be succeeding and you're still grinding in the dark, those moments are real and they are brutal. And I'm not going to pretend otherwise. But here is what I need you to understand. Those moments are not signs that you're failing. Those moments are signs that you're in the process. The process is not linear. It doesn't go up every day. It goes up, then sideways, then down, then way down, then suddenly up further than ever before. But you have to stay in it long enough to reach that breakthrough. Most people quit in the sideways. Most people quit in the down. They don't realize that the breakthrough is 2 weeks away, 2 months away, one more decision away. Don't be most people when the dark moments come, and they will come. Remember why you started. Remember who you're becoming. Remember that every great story has a chapter that looked like the end, but wasn't. Your story is not over, not even close. They will call you obsessed. Let them. They will say you're too focused. Let them. They will tell you to relax, to slow down, to enjoy life, to find balance. And you smile, and you nod, and you go back to work. Because here's what they don't understand. Obsession is not a mental disorder. Obsession is a superpower. When properly directed, every person who ever changed the world was obsessed. Obsessed with their craft. Obsessed with their mission. Obsessed with becoming the best version of themselves. They didn't work 9 to 5. They worked until it was done. They didn't train until they were tired. They trained until they were finished. They didn't study until they understood. They studied until they couldn't get it wrong. That level of commitment, that level of dedication is what separates the remembered from the forgotten, the legendary from the ordinary, the 1% from the 99%. So embrace your obsession, channel it, direct it, use it, because the same intensity that makes you different is exactly what will make you great. Don't apologize for wanting more. Don't apologize for working harder. Don't apologize for refusing to settle. That's not a flaw. That's your greatest gift. I want to end with this. One day, it will all make sense. The early mornings, the late nights, the sacrifices, the loneliness, the doubt, the pain, the moments nobody saw, the work nobody clapped for, the tears nobody knew about. It will all make sense because you will look back and you will see the exact moment when you decided to be different. When you decided that ordinary wasn't enough. When you decided that the 1% wasn't just a concept, but a commitment, a daily, relentless, unbreakable commitment to yourself, to your potential, to the version of you that the world has never seen yet. That version is almost ready. He's been forged in the fire of everything you've been through, shaped by every sacrifice, strengthened by every struggle, refined by every failure. And one day, very soon, he's going to step into the light, and the world will finally see what you've been building all along. But that day is not today. Today is another day of work, another day of showing up, another day of being the 1% when the 99% go home. So get up, lock in, tune out the noise, and go build something that will last. Because the clock is ticking, and the 1% never wastes a second. This is your mindset now. This is who you are. The 1%. Own it, live it, breathe it, every single day.